Hello everyone, I am Madhusudhan from Electronics and Communication Department. This project is for technical English. This topic of this presentation is environmental pollution and mainly deals about water pollution. So, what are the sources, causes, effects, how to prevent, and finally a case study of water pollution in Bengaluru. So let's begin with the basic idea of what is environmental pollution and why it is termed as social issue. Pollution is termed as social issue because human beings are the major contributors to this issue. There are many forms of pollution, namely air, water, soil, among others. Pollution, the term pollution means can be defined as influence of any substance causing nuisance, harmful effects, and uneasiness to the organisms. Now, so what do we mean by environmental pollution? Environmental pollution, it can be defined as an undesirable change in physical, chemical, or biological characteristics of any component of an environment, that is, air, water, soil, which can cause harmful effects on various forms of life and property. Pollution is caused by pollutants. So, what are pollutants? Any substance causing nuisance or harmful effects or uneasiness to the organisms that then that particular substance can be called as a pollutant. We hear about pollution all the time. It could be smog in our city, the trash covering beaches, bad smell when you are walking nearby a river or any water body, loud irritating sounds in the traffic or degradation of nutrients in our soil. These are many types of pollution we come across daily. So pollutions can be classified into many types. The basic types of pollution are water pollution. Humans need water to survive. This is a fact. However, trash and chemicals can get thrown into the ocean and lakes. This is called water pollution. Not only they can affect fish and other marine life, when pollutants get into the water, they have a devastating effect on water cycle. Natural causes of water pollution and are uh, include algae blooms and volcanoes. However, humans also cause water pollution through trash and water from factories. The next major source of pollution is air pollution. In some cities, the air is dangerous to breathe. Why? Well, air pollution, of course. Air pollution is when noxious gases and chemicals get suspended in air. Think about the smog in Delhi or even sometimes in Bangalore. Dirt, grime, exhaust fumes, and other aerosols get into the air. These pollutants can go into the atmosphere and infect our clouds, creating acid rain, or can just hang out like smog does and make it harder for people to see and breathe. The other type of pollution is land pollution. Land pollution is another big one of the big three pollution affecting the human population. Land pollution happens when the soil gets contaminated by the fertilizers or chemicals being dumped. The pollution in the land can seep into the groundwater or run into the lakes and streams, creating a vicious pollution cycle. Now, other type is noise pollution. This is a common type of pollution in very big cities. Here we have we ever needed have you ever needed to wear earphones for loud noises? If yes, you are experiencing noise pollution. Noise pollution is caused by loud noises that can hurt the human ears. Types of noise pollution can include explosions of bombs or explosions of any other explosive materials, jet planes and jet engines, and even concerts. If you're staying very close to the concerts, you experience noise pollution. Noise pollution is dangerous because it can cause many hearing aid problems to humans and also can affect the aerial life. Radioactive pollution. When we think of radioactive pollution, what do we think? We actually think of Chernobyl and Fukushima incident because they are the major radioactive disasters which happened in the planet. Both of these nuclear power plants use fusion of radioactive materials, uranium and plutonium, to create electricity, and both failed. Their failure led to toxic chemicals and radiation being leaked out into the environment, which caused radioactive pollution. And the last of the major pollution is light pollution. Yeah, light pollution is, uh, as we don't think about light pollution much, but this is one of the major pollution which is affecting us and which is keeping us from many secrets of our universe. Like we can't see the stars, we can't see the galaxies from here. Like since due to the light pollution in big city with lot of light, it is impossible to see stars and galaxies. Light pollution using electric lights to light up the sky is the cause. While lights are great for helping us to see at night, too many lights cause light pollution, blocking out the night sky. Light pollution can also be harmful to animals. For example, from the lights of big cities can confuse migrating birds. This is a common type of effect which is affecting migration of birds from one place to another place. So this is the basic understanding of different types of pollution. As we know, this presentation deals about water pollution. Now let's get in detail about water pollution. Water pollution is a contamination of water sources by substances which make the water unusable for drinking, cooking, cleaning, swimming, and other activities. Pollutants include chemicals, trash, bacteria, and parasites. Most of water pollution is man-made. It may also occur naturally by addition of soil particles through erosion, animal waste, and leaching of materials from the rocks. Not only does this spell disaster for aquatic ecosystem, the pollutants also seep through the seep through and reach the groundwater, which might end up in our households as contaminated water we use in our daily activities, including drinking or washing vegetables or using it in cooking, etc. So we now have a basic understanding of what is a water pollution. Now this slide shows the sources of water pollution. Water pollution can be caused by a number of ways. One of the most polluting being city sewage and industrial waste discharge. Municipal waste, this is a major source of water pollution. Wastewater and sewage from household are also common causes of water pollution. Sewage water carry chemical and harmful bacteria which pose serious health issues. Sewers and houses carry pathogens which cause diseases and other types of um, damages to human health. Wastewater and sewer carry microorganisms which carry deadly diseases and are also breeding ground for many disease carrying bacteria and other types of microorganisms. Other major source of water pollution is industrial waste. Every day, industries produce large amounts of waste. This wastewater contains pollutants and toxic chemicals such as mercury, lead, arsenic, and ascorbates, sulfur, and nitrates, among other harmful chemicals. Most industries lack a proper waste management system. This causes the wastewater to drain into the river and water bodies such as rivers and lakes and causes water pollution because these rivers and lakes in turn go to the sea and cause devastating water pollutions. This wastewater change the color of the water, cause eutrophication and change the water temperature and causes thermal pollution and pose a serious hazard to humans, animals and plants. Oil spills. Oil spills, we hear about oil spills most of the times in news or any other thing, like this much amount of oil is spilled here, or there is a oil leakage in the oil leakage, and it has caused so many deaths of aquatic animals. So oil is also one of the most dangerous causes of water pollution. Oil waste from industries, ships, and machinery sometimes gain access to water bodies along with other waste products. Oil is not soluble with water and thus causes a layer that covers the water underneath. Besides polluting the water and making it harmful for humans, it also causes death of marine wildlife. Next, organic pollutants, which will be left into water by even from domestic waste and even from in industrial waste. The organic matter will go to the water and cause water pollution, which will increases the biological oxygen demand, and uh, which in turn causes water pollution. Other source is agricultural waste. There are products. These are the products used by farmers to grow crops free of bacteria and insects infection. While they may be useful to plant life, they pose serious hazards to humans and animals if they gain access to water. If they gain access to water, this cause of water pollution is called agriculture water pollution and mostly occurs when it rains. The chemicals mix with rainwater and flow to the water bodies and mix with water bodies and causes all the previous types of pollution which were discussed. Now, other type is marine pollution. Every household produces garbage. It's a common thing. We produce many metric ton of domestic waste daily and just leave it to the water source. It can be in the form of paper, plastic bottles, glass, rubber, aluminium, and also waste food. This garbage is sometimes dumped in water bodies, and this causes water pollution. Some of these waste products take up to 2000 years to decompose, and they are left behind in the water like that itself for more than 200 years, and this causes pollution and also harms the water creatures. The causes of this water pollution, there's a survey done. This shows the percentage of all the sources and how much percentage how much percentage they're causing the water pollution. Here we can see that 46.7% of respondents are water pollution is caused by the industrial effluents which are left by industries, and 23.3% is from brick fields. They form a huge percentage. They are huge contributors to the water pollution, and 13.3 are agricultural works. 10% is from household works and household sewage, and 6.7% from illegal encroachment, which decreases the water source area, like the illegal constructions around lake areas, which causes the rainwater to go flow through the buildings or flow through this area, and it doesn't have enough storage capacity, so it causes floods and many other water disasters. So this graph shows how the different types of sources and what are their uh, contribution in water pollution. Now, this slide shows the effects of water pollution on environment and as well as human life. Water pollution affects environment and human lives in different ways. One, eutrophication is one of the way in which affects. Agriculture products such as fertilizers and pesticides contain several elevated levels of ammonia and phosphate, which can boost crop yields. However, these nutrients can find their way into the streams, lakes, and other water bodies and through runoff, thus unbalancing the delicate aquatic systems. This sparks a process called eutrophication, whereby certain organisms can can doesn't have enough oxygen or consume more than their fair share of oxygen and sunlight, depleting others of their share of oxygen. Therefore, this decreases the dissolved oxygen content in the water, and since animals or aquatic life breathe through the dissolved oxygen which is in the water, they face devastating health effects and eventually die. Depletion of drinking water supplies. As a resource upon as the resource upon which we depend on for our survival, it would be illogical to prioritize the safety and sanitization of our drinking water supplies above all else. That's especially true given that the Earth's population continues to grow at an alarming rate, meaning even greater stores of water will be required in the future. Now, since this water pollution is causing many such depletion in potable water, uh, as you have seen, uh, if you can take an example of Meghalaya or Chirapunji, which receives the highest amount of rainfall in the world, but it is still faced by devastating drinking water supplies during non-rainy seasons because of less conservation techniques, lack of water conservation techniques, and it can be seen in many other cities also. Like in Bangalore, many times we face drinking water supplies problems because of many other factors, and most important factor is the pollution of the water, which degrades the quality of water and thereby decreasing the drinking water supplies. Food chain disruption is also one of the main effects of water pollution. When eutrophication causes certain species to consume or die out, that can have a knock-on effect of predators which feed upon them, thus causing shockwaves further up the food chain. Meanwhile, consumption and absorption of polluted water by marine and aquatic organisms is capable of causing damage to the internal organs. When they are later consumed by larger species, the food chain can become compromised and contaminated, and this is known as food chain pyramid, which shows that even if for an example, if any animal eats a fish, or if the water is polluted and the fish is in that polluted water, and if we eat the fish, we also indirectly are consuming the pollutants of the water. So this causes food chain disruption and can cause many diseases. So the next effect is that diseases. If the drinking water supplies cannot meet the demand, people will be forced to consume unsafe sources of drinking water. This is especially true in improvised parts of the world such as Africa, Asia, and Latin America. In total, next slide we actually see about the surveys or the sources about how much percentage of water, how much percentage of water is treated and how much is untreated, and how it affects the uh, people's life. Next effect is agriculture. We know that farming uses as much as 70% of Earth's naturally available water resource or fresh water resource. If that water becomes contaminated, there are fewer reserves available to cultivate crops and sustain livestock, thus contributing to reduced yields and poor quality crops. Meanwhile, the plants and animals which are reared using this polluted water are not fit for human consumption, again indirectly contributing to the negative impact of human health. These are all these effects all in turn have caused the economic impact. The effects of water pollution are not just related to human environment, right? Because finally they affect our economics of a country or even of a region. Either contaminated water supplies must go through a rigorous treatment process before they can become portable or sustainable for irrigation, washing, or swimming in. This entails a financial price tag that is prohibitive of human progress. Meanwhile, another economic impact endangered by water pollution is loss of revenue experienced by tourism industry in certain parts of the world. As we told, 2.4 billion people live without any form of sanitization. 2.4, it is almost equal to one third of the population of the world live without any form of sanitization. Lack of sanitization is one of the most significant forms of water pollution. And 90% of sewage in developing countries is discharged untreated directly into the water bodies, which causes many types of pollution as we discussed. This causes water pollution affects us in different ways as we discussed in the previous slides. Now, some of the examples of water contamination disaster are Minamata disease. This is the most famous water disaster which happened in Japan. It is caused due to lead mercury poisoning because the Minamata, in the state of Minamata, in the city of Minamata, the river flowing had huge amount of lead mercury dissolved in it. So when the people consumed, it caused numerous health problems and resulted in death of many human beings as well as aquatic lives. And still today, the Minamata disease is a prevailing disease. Niger Delta oil pollution. As you know, oil spills are the most common source of water pollution. Many oil drilling stations are extracting places. Oil spills occur and causes huge water pollution around that area, which affects the aquatic life of the region. Ecuador Amazon degradation. Ecuador Amazon degradation is the degradation of soil source of the Amazon region. Uh, France Amco Cadzer tanker spill. This is also another type of oil spill which happened in France. Romania cyanide spill. Cyanide is one of the most poisonous material in the world. As soon as we consume cyanide, we die. There in Romania, there was a cyanide spill. There was a cyanide tanker which was which was which exploded and caused huge amount of spills in the ocean, which resulted in death of many aquatic life. Deep water oil spills. Since oil are extracted from river or seabed with through a pipe, any damage to the pipe causes leakage of oil, which causes deep water oil spills. And since we know oil is less denser than water, it always floats on water, thereby blocking the sunlight reaching the aquatic life, and also it reduces the dissolution of oxygen in water. Now, how do we reduce the water pollution? Water pollution cannot be prevented completely, so we have to follow the ways in which we can reduce the water pollution. There are many steps or many methods which we can follow or to reduce the water pollution. Green agriculture, using of organic agriculture to promotion of organic agriculture and uses of organic fertilizers and other things to grow the crops. Air pollution prevention. Air pollution, it causes acid rain, which in turn pollutes the water. And try to avoid plastic containers, and because we know a some plastic materials will not be degraded for thousands or hundreds of years. They stay in that form and causes water pollution and eventually the death of many aquatic lives. Do not pour fat and grease down the drain. This is another type because they form a layer of it big, and the separation of fat and grease from the water is so much difficult, and it takes lot of time and money. So it is important that we not pour the fat and grease down the drain. Dispose of toxic chemicals properly, not just throwing them in the water bodies, or expelling them in the water bodies. And proper wastewater treatment by the industries and other components, and water conservation. Water conservation, water should be conserved, because as you know, we have a limited amount of drinking water or the usable water available. So the water conservation method is a most effective method to reduce water pollution and also to increase our drinking water capability. Now, this is a case study of water pollution in Bangalore. But water pollution in Bangalore, a river that comes and goes on or a drain that carries away the city's waste. A breeding ground of disease coated in foamy surf, or an aggregation lifeline born in the city. The Vishibhavati lake take many forms. This is the most polluted water body in the Bangalore, and infamously it is known as Kengeri Mori. Bengaluru lakes are choking with urban waste and pollution as untreated sewage flows directly into the catchment areas. The constant pressure of encroachment and unplanned construction has trumped conservation, resulting in stagnant and polluted urban water bodies. A study was conducted on about 4,000 lakes in and around different parts of Bangalore. This study was conducted by EMPRI, and they categorized the lakes into five parts. In the 85% of the existing water bodies come under the lower grade, class E. Class E, this means that the water can only be used for irrigation and industrial cooling. Mean it can neither be used for drinking nor can be used for cooking or any other human activities. It can only be used for irrigation and industrial cooling. And 13% of the samples collected were categorized as class D, fit only for breeding fish and wildlife propagation, and remaining two categories were under class C, disinfection and conventional treatment to make it potable. Means if 2% of these lakes uh, had a decent quality of water, which on treatment can be used as a potable water, and not even one lake was direct from what water from the lake can be used for drinking or for bathing or cooking, because it is so much contaminated and too dangerous for human consumption. Now, the government has been taking many steps to address the issues of water pollution, and there are many schemes, policies which are implemented to reduce the water pollution and also increase the knowledge on or the knowledge of water pollution in common people. Installation of some of the steps are installation of online effluent monitoring system to check the drainage of effluent directly into the rivers and water bodies, setting up of monitoring network for assessment of water quality, financial assistance for installation of common effluent treatment plants for cluster of small scale industrial units. This can be seen very much like government is providing the enough financial aid for small industries to treat their wastewater properly and expel the water which has a good water quality into the water sources. Preparation of action plan for sewage management and restoration of water quality in aquatic resources by state governments. Action to comply with effluent standards is taken by SPCBs and PCCs to improve water quality of the rivers. So, finally, I would like to say water is essential to life. It need not to be spelled out exactly how important it is. Yet, water pollution is one of the most serious ecological threats we face today. So let's find the solution and stop this water pollution. Thank you.